We are a civil litigation firm based out of Coral Gables. We are a woman-run, family-run firm, and we generally deal with civil litigation matters, but we specialize in first-party property matters. And that generally arises in situations where policyholders, either homeowners or commercial business owners, have property damage, and they end up in disputes with their insurance company about what's covered and how much is covered. So we represent our policyholder clients from the moment they obtain their policies through trial in the event that we're unable to resolve whatever property-related dispute arises or coverage-related dispute arises with their carriers. It's a good thing that happened in my business. So growth. We had clients that, we were building our book of business, word of mouth was allowing us to expand sort of the breadth, the reach of our business. We were expanding into different areas, and we realized that we didn't want to lose part of what we thought was a cornerstone of the services we offered, namely the interpersonal contact. But of course, as you get more business and you have more clients and you have more personal things that you need to get done in your life, I'm a mom of two little kids. It becomes harder to have that face-to-face. So we wanted to have a very interpersonal experience. We wanted to have easy access to our clients because it's part of our brand and part of what we pride ourselves in. So we needed to move to incorporate or have more staff to assist us essentially with particularly interfacing with clients and helping us implement the systems and procedures we have at our office. Part of what I alluded to in the previous answer, which is this notion of having the first person who interacts with a client or opposing counsel or whomever it may be, a third-party vendor, being able to reflect the policies, procedures, brand of our office. You can't do that when you have what I had before, which was a more generic telephone answering service, essentially only there to collect data. You lost that sort of interpersonal feel from the inception that was part of, again, what we prided ourselves, particularly in the early years. So that was very important to us, and it's worked out very well. I get complimented on all the time. The second area where I saw the need, and now have seen the fruits of it since, is in retention of prospective new clients. Invariably, what would happen would be we would get phone calls through an answering service. Sometimes it was directed to me through my cell phone, depending on who the referral source was. But if it went straight to the office, we now have systems and procedures built in where there's an initial sort of fielding of the phone call. And then based on my response, a follow-up phone call scheduled as part of what I automatically do. I'm very governed by the calendar, right? So that follow-up happens, and usually within a short period of time, if not immediately after that initial call. So our retention numbers have increased from these initial sort of fielded calls, particularly when they're calls that come in from not particularly a close referral source, so someone maybe who's seen us online or somebody who might have just been more interested in getting some more information. So that's the two areas I've seen it most effective, certainly for my practice. I didn't think I knew really where to look, other than, at some point I'll get around to putting in an ad and following up on the ad and setting up the interview and doing the follow-up and all of those things. And so when I actually had the opportunity of meeting you and you explained it to me as sort of a one-stop shop where, of course, I was able to participate in the vetting process and finding someone that matched us. But a lot of that groundwork, which is time consuming and in turn expensive, right? The time that I could be doing working on something else got removed from the equation. So there was nothing to lose, to sign up and see how basically keep in touch with you and see how the process played out. And then ultimately, when we met the person who ultimately was matched with us, we knew at that point it was a perfect fit. I don't think that's a coincidence, right? You knew going in what exactly we were looking for. You knew going in exactly who we were and the way that our business operates, at least on a general level. And so a lot of the guesswork was taken out when we actually got to interact with the person that ultimately matched with us. So it was definitely time. It was definitely a time saver but it was a very pointed way of being able to arrive at the destination we wanted, which is to find somebody that would fit well with our office culture and, with in terms of the experience that they had and background. So I certainly didn't know where to go. And when the opportunity presented itself, it sounded like something that would work with the way that my schedule works and take a lot of guesswork out of the process for us. I compliments all the time on the professionalism of my office, and I'm very proud of our staff. That goes for everybody. My paralegal, my office manager, who you might see in the background there. But to be able to have that at the front of house when those initial calls come in for the reception, I certainly wasn't receiving those compliments before when we had a telephone answering service. On the contrary, I was receiving a little bit more frustration, right? I want to be able to reach you. I want to make it more easy to reach you. And we do have systems and procedures in place, particularly if I'm set to be at something or, dealing with something at a given time. But having that interpersonal contact on the front end and the assurance that they're going to be speaking with me or another attorney at our firm shortly, one reflects very well on us, and I'm getting very positive feedback about the experience from clients and from opposing counsels and third-party vendors. Stafi is very much involved in the process. I think that's part of what has continued the success of the relationship. I mean, I have to be honest, the person for us was perfect for us, so it works out. But the involvement from my experience thus far was very proactive at the outset. And then you all continue, from what I could see on my end, to be involved in facilitating and making sure that the relationship still works, that the functions of the roles still work, that parties involved are happy with the relationship, with the setup, and that if in the event any changes need to be made, it can be accommodated before problems become difficult, certainly on the business owner end, right? More complicated. So again, a lot of the guesswork is taken out, not only on the inception from finding the employee that fits you, but to maintain that relationship going forward. The immediate answer, and there's been a lot of benefits that we've certainly gotten, but it's very important for me to measure things with metrics, right? Dollars, hours saved, things that you can actually quantify, in addition to, the feel of the experience. And so for us, there has been a market improvement in retention for new clients. And I think part of that is that early interfacing before the client goes elsewhere, or the client gets frustrated, or the client feels unheard or unseen. So those numbers have gone up since we started working with Stafi, and the time saved in the day, although I don't have it written down, I can tell you, I definitely have a feel for the fact that I know that a lot of these overflow tasks, as I like to call them, things that I was doing either in the car or between picking up kids or between hearings, a lot of that can now be delegated. So I'd venture to say it's certainly more than a couple of hours a day that is, time saved to allow me to either focus on another task or do something else that I need to get done. And that's been a very clear market difference from when I first started working with Stafi to what the situation looked like here for me, particularly before. A step above sort of the metrics I mentioned, right? So we have the metrics, things that are measurable in time, but peace of mind is invaluable. And, things work a lot better when there's a feeling of order, right? There's a feeling that your systems are implemented with people who are qualified to implement those systems and to deliver the level of service that you market as a business owner, right? So that peace of mind has been the biggest value. I know that if I'm out with the kids, or I'm at a parent-teacher thing, or I'm at a hearing, or I'm at trial, where I'm pretty much off the radar for 3, 4, 5 days, checking in periodically with the office, I know that everything is covered, and that peace of mind is invaluable. And it's well worth the investment on the front end of time to making sure you find the right person. A lot of the guesswork of which is removed by the processes and systems that Stafi has. So I guess the most natural conclusion of that answer is I'm very thankful for that. So thank you.